Yeah, it's been obviously the Test series went really well. In saying that, I think Pakistan is a very good one-day side, and probably they would be the first to say that from a performance point of view, their one-day and their Test teams over the last year or so, performance-wise, their one-day team is much stronger. It'll be a nice challenge for us. Obviously, the Champions Trophy winners last year. And we're a one-day side that also, we still also try and find that balances in our team. With Quinny and Dale not here in the first two games, it actually gives us an opportunity to make sure that we can look at what else we need to look at, which is important. It's an answer that I'm hoping to give to you after this in the series. We're hoping that certainly over the next 5 games, but over the next 10 against Sri Lanka as well, all the all-rounders that are there in Andile Pehlakwayo, Vian Mulder, Chris Morris, Dwayne Proteas, that you at least have one or maybe 2 of those guys that really put their hand up and shout to the selectors, pick me. In general, obviously one-day wickets are a lot more friendly for both teams, even if you're a touring team. It is a decision that always comes into St George's Park, as do you need 1 spinner, do you need 2 spinners, because it is possibly the ground in the country that can spin the most if you compare it to the other grounds around the country. Obviously a day-night game, which is possibly something different as well. So there's 1 or 2 things that we need to consider in terms of what we're looking to do with our balance of our side. But I do think over the next 5 games, certainly the spinners will have their say. Pakistan is a really good batting team against spin, so it'll be a nice challenge for our spinners. But I'm hoping over the next, same again, 5-10 games, that our 2 spinners, which we're very lucky to have good spinners, will have good equal opportunity to just keep working on their games and making sure they're getting themselves ready for the World Cup. It's difficult for me to say right now, but if it's a case where we still feel we need answers in terms of the balance of the side, then possibly one guy who is probably already nailed on a spot for the World Cup may have to give opportunity for someone else. But in saying that, if the guys get an opportunity and do well, then it's easy just to keep them on the side and for them to use that opportunity that they get to put their name in the hat. So yeah, it's good too. Obviously we've got some new faces. Rassi is new into the one-day side. Was impressed with him in that 1 or 2 games that he played for us in the T20 side. But it was just really hard to try and fit him into the Australian squad, because there's a lot of competition for the batters. There's a lot of options available. And then he had a great Zanzi League. Yeah, he's been knocking on the door very hard. So it's a great time for him to get an opportunity after all the runs that he scored. And the same thing with Dwan. Dwan's just come off a South African record of Test wickets in a series. So from a brains trust point of view, we're continuously looking at X-factor players in the sense of our bowling attack. So Lungi, Dale, KG are fantastic seamers, and they pick themselves. But possibly as one extra backup seamer, we've got some nice pace bowlers in our country. Dwan Willefeer, even Norkeo bowled really well in the Mzansi League. Is still someone's name that we're also looking at. Patterson is a different kind of bowler. He's more of a swing bowler, but it's that extra bowler. I think is certainly if something had to happen to one of those bowlers in the World Cup, that we would have someone with a bit of pace would be nice. I think that generally how those things work is, they sign a contract on a starting and a finishing date. So obviously the finishing date will be the World Cup, but it doesn't mean that would be the end of him. I think what will happen over the next while, even before we go to the World Cup, is there'll probably be conversations between the board, president, CEO, team management, maybe even captain, where you discuss what's the future looking like. Does Otis see himself coaching here for longer? Does Cricket South Africa see him coach the team for longer? So I think purely because on the contract was 2 years, and obviously that's to the World Cup, I think that for me doesn't have an impact on the future of him. It will be a thing from the team side and also the board side, who will be the best guy to take the team after the World Cup. And if Otis is still keen to do it, the team would still love him on board. I think the team really worked well under him certainly from a captain point of view, I've really enjoyed working with him. Our styles are very similar, and so similar. Our dressing room is very calm, and I think that is very important in international cricket. So, yeah, I think those discussions will happen over the next couple of months.